Before we proceed, everyone please mute your mics. Let me introduce our Toastmaster for today, the president of Multimedia Magicians, Pooja Joshi. Pooja, it's all you.
Thank you, Abhijit, and welcome everyone to yet another meeting of the Multimedia Magicians. Let's see what magic we have in store today. To introduce our functionaries today, our timer is going to be Linda. Hi, Linda. Did everyone get a chance to see? There she is. Please spin the timer if you are going to be speaking. We will start off our session with a segment that we like to call lightning slides. And for the benefits of our guests, I'd like to explain to you that this will be a portion where we will have a visual clue on the screen and you get 30 seconds to talk about it before we move on. Lightning slides will be hosted by Namita today. So over to you, Namita.
Thanks, Pooja. So I have a collection of photos from my travels. You have to speak about it for 30 seconds. The timer is in the lower left of the screen, right of the screen, and it can be a story you want to create or something that reminds you of an anecdote. So let's get started with it. Let me call upon Pooja first.
Oh, thank you, Namita. This beautiful picture reminds me of days in my childhood where I would lie in the lawn of a park next to my house and stare up at the clouds. And my favorite game was to decide what creature, animal, thing that a cloud looks like. And I could spend hours playing that game, and looking at this picture, I could do that all over again. I already see the letter Z in the mirror. Thank you.
Gavin. Gavin?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, so you have to speak about this image for...
Oh, okay, thank you. Wow, how beautiful the scenery here is. This just brings me back to my childhood. When I was a small child, I spent a lot of time reading at home. And in front of my home, there is a huge lake. And sometimes I just went swimming, and sometimes I just use a boat and kind of lying down, seeing the sky, the trees, listening to the birds sing. That was a really, really beautiful time. And yeah, thank you for bringing me back to my childhood.
Linda.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just saw this picture. It's so very classic building. It's for some agriculture for the it's for something like the museum or something like it's the part of the culture and the long history character. So I think it's a very good memory, and for that one, yeah, it's very wonderful, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Abhijit?
It reminds me of Rajasthan. There was a time when I went to Rajasthan and I saw the beautiful doorway in Jaipur. The way it was lit, it was mesmerizing. We went across the gate and we were trying to capture the moment in the nighttime. And that memory, that photo is something we will always cherish. I really enjoyed what was the history about that place because it, I think my time is over, right?
Okay, Gloria, you want to try next one? You're speaking on mute, I guess.
This is such a beautiful waterfall. It reminds me of just being out in the summer, relaxing, dipping in the warm water, looking at the waterfall, getting wet, and just relaxing and enjoying life and just thinking tomorrow's never going to end. I'm just in the moment. It just feels good being outdoors, breathing the fresh air and just enjoying the fact that I'm living, I'm alive, and I'm healthy, and I'm happy.
Jamun, you want to try?
This is a bird's eye view that I would see when I travel to places. So I went to Chicago not too long ago, and I had an opportunity to be at the tallest building out there, and the beauty was mesmerizing. And this is exactly how I saw it. It just from the top, the people look like ants, and it was amazing beauty to see this spectacular view. I would definitely travel, go to tall places and see the beauty, and it's amazing.
Nora, you want to try?
Wow. This reminds me of a Toastmasters event. When I went to Canada, there was a suspension bridge, and it was so exciting to walk across that bridge. It was that whole area. It was just beautiful. Canada was just beautiful. I had never been to Canada, but when you're in Toastmasters, it can take you so many places that you never thought you'd ever visit. Vancouver, Canada. This is what that picture reminds me of.
Alex, you want to try?
Yeah. Oh, goodness. This, I guess this reminds me of a museum. I guess if I was traveling, this could be in a foreign country maybe. And it's a time that you can observe different artwork and murals on the walls and architecture. It's a beautiful design.
Sorry. Derek?
Hello. What I'm seeing right here are some tasty ostriches. Most people, when they want their scrambled eggs, they're going to want some chicken eggs, grade A, grade double egg, grade triple egg, triple A. But what about all them ostrich eggs? Can you imagine how big those eggs are? I've never seen one, but I imagine it's the size of a football, and that must be like grade ostrich egg. And I'm kind of curious what kind of breakfast you can make with an ostrich egg, but I'm sure it's gonna make me feel like I'm, out there with nature, being able to run really fast and start the day running.
Okay. You want to try?
This is like being in Disneyland, but no, it's a real place where the owners of the building would paint the colors of the facade to match the mood of the year every December. And can you imagine if they were to have a ball, you could go into the pink door and come out into a pink ballroom. But if you walk into the blue door, you walk into a blue ballroom, and it will be very festive.
Okay, thank you. That's about it. Over to you, Pooja.
Thank you, Namita. And clearly you have traveled the world that we see all these beautiful pictures as a part of your presentation today. Forgive me if you can hear some kind of whirling in my background. I can't make it stop. But just ignore it. Our first speech is going to be from Gavin. Gavin will be talking about how to level up NLP, which is natural language processing, NLP education within 3 weeks. This is effective coaching project 1. This is his first one, and then he will have the second one based on the evaluations that we give. The speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes long. After the speech, we will have a round robin evaluation session where each of you can, or 4 or 5 of us will give Gavin some feedback. So please take a moment to think about what you would like to tell Gavin. So how to level up NLP education in 3 weeks, Gavin Wong.
How to level up the NLP education just in 3 weeks. That's a problem. Why? Because I have seen so many problems in this area. By the way, NLP is natural language processing. It's about how to leverage artificial intelligence to boost the communication between human and machine. Some of the problems are archaic content, old, plethora of concepts. They are just talking different online education platforms, schools, many teachers, they are just talking. And a paucity of source code. In AI, many of us actually, we are here for seeing the source code, how it works. Unfortunately, in this education field, there is a paucity of source code. So these are the main issues, and I want to make a change. I believe in your career, you have the moment or moments you want to make a change. So how to do it? Be the change you want to see in the world. We are not seeking for the change. We can be the change itself. So maybe it's easy to say, but how to think about the process that can make a change and how to apply or transmute my idea into reality. That's the 2 key parts I want to share with you. But all in all, it's very simple, actually. Everything is within this picture. Give me a place to stand, and with a lever, I will move the whole world. Here, I'm saying to level up the NLP education in about 3 weeks. So the key here is, what is the place and what is the lever, right? To move on, I believe it's very important, and everybody may know that if we can make a really smart decision, that's because we understand the core. If we couldn't understand the core, we couldn't make a decision, especially a smart or wise decision. So for me, I have kind of extensive knowledge in NLP. I have created a framework for conversational bots for the past 5 years. So I know the core, the most important part. And just let us see a quotation from Andrew. He is a really renowned professor in Stanford University. He just said at the end of 2021, he said, one architecture to do them all. So here, the architecture is refers to transformer. It's a new paradigm in artificial intelligence, especially for NLP. To do them all, that means to transform everything in artificial intelligence, including computer vision, including audio recognition, especially for NLP. So I have found the place. It's called the transformer, the key that has transformed everything in AI, especially for NLP. So you can see from the title of the paper, transformer, it's just said, okay, attention is all you need. The key here is all. That means if you just pinpoint, if you just stick to transformer, you can do everything. So that's the key part. Then move on. It's about how to do it, right? You have the key tool or framework architecture. You need to have a place with the lever, you can do everything. So with my research, I have chosen the open source machine learning framework called RASA. It's the most advanced conversational AI so far all over the world. It's the most popular framework on GitHub. GitHub is the place where open source software are hosted for different countries, for all the developers. So I have the lever, I have the place, and then I just need to do it. Again, the core here is we need to understand the core of this field. It's about transformer that is transforming everything in artificial intelligence, especially for natural language processing. So I have the place, the lever, a transformer, and open source RASA. Then to apply everything, to put everything into reality, I have 3 steps. Number 1, I'm working on releasing 50 online courses. So far, I have released 31. Number 2, 101 online websites. I have many team members. You can see 101 team members for creating 101 online websites. We are in the process. So I just put everything together, transformer, RASA, as well as some academic papers. And this had to make a change, a huge change. I call it one hub to rule everything off, to transmute the current NLP education into a much, much higher level based on the core, the transformer architecture. Yeah, we have online courses every day, live online courses. And now it's received, recognized very well. You can see on Google, Baidu, the most popular search engine in China. When you search the courses, you can see our courses are on the top 10, all of them actually. So let me ask you, what is your place? What is your lever to make a change for the better? Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Let's take a minute to think of our feedback that we would like to share with Gavin. Okay. to begin, Jamal, would you like to give some feedback to Gavin?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gavin. That was an interesting topic. You introduced me to NLP. And you shared a lot of slides, and you definitely shared that there are courses available for NLP. I would say, I was looking at your title again just to understand what was it that I should take away from here. And the title says, How to Level Up NLP Education Within 3 Weeks. So my understanding was maybe you're going to share with me applications of NLP, because people like me are still learning what NLP stands for. So it'll be nice if you could share what are the applications of NLP, and here are the courses you can take. And after you take these courses, then you will be able to create these things. That's the direction I was going into. But overall, I liked your presentation because you gave me areas to explore. So thank you for that, Gavin.
Thank you, Jamal. Michael, would you like to share something?
Sorry, I'm having trouble getting to the mute and unmute button because of this new setup. What I'd like to say is that I liked your visuals. I could see that you were making good eye contact at times. The one thing I have to say in terms of a critique is that some of your vocabulary could be simplified a little bit. People tend to read and I believe understand, no offense to anybody, it includes me, on a 6th grade level. And words like paucity aren't well known. I happen to know what it means, but I think a lot of people, hopefully outside this group, do not. So you'd want to make the words a little bit simpler, make it more relatable. Back to you.
Thank you, Michael. Nora?
Thank you. I was a little bit kind of confused. I didn't exactly, and I'm not exactly familiar with NLP, but I did get something out of that you were setting up an online course, and that this course is supposed to do everything if you have those 3 elements. I kind of understood that part. I really enjoyed it, and I wish I could understand it a little bit more, but I'm not that familiar with it. But I think if I was a little bit more familiar with the whole idea of NLP, then I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. Let's move on to our next speech, because we have a long one coming up. If there was any feedback that you wanted to give to Gavin, please do send it to him in the chat right here. He would love to hear back from you. Our next speaker is Abhijit. Abhijit will be presenting today from the Pathway Persuasive Influence Level 5 project to prepare to speak professionally. The purpose of this project is to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Today, Abhijit's speech is titled Secrets to Crafting a Speech. Over to you, Abhijit.
Thank you so much, Pooja. Kauthar and Vaishnavi from Cisco Speaks came to me 2 weeks ago and said, we need to inspire people to give more speeches. How can we do that? Those 2 were my inspiration to make this workshop happen. Today, I'm going to share some secrets to crafting your speech. This is mostly for an inspirational speech. I'm no expert. I'm just going to share one way of crafting a speech. My question to you is, Michael, which is the most important ingredient Americans love in their food? Michael?
I'd say spices.
A little bit more. The most important, like they have a lot of it in their food. Anything else, Nora?
Is it salt?
Close by, but there's one more.
Sugar.
Perfect. You are on top, Nora. That's perfect. Americans love sugar. Namita, what is one ingredient which Indians love in their food? They have a lots of it.
Turmeric,
Nope, nope. Actually, Nora said that.
salt.
Perfect. You know, we love that salt and sugar so much. Now, what is that one ingredient that connects us with our audience in our speeches? Gloria. Gloria, can you think of one ingredient which connects us to our speakers?
Eye contact.
Eye contact, yes, but there is something more. I think eye contact is one of them, yep, but the most important. Pooja?
Relatability.
Relatability, yes, that's good.
Story.
Glory, yes. There is
No,
something, there is something,
storytelling.
storytelling, yes. What is beneath the storytelling?
Emotion.
Emotions. The most important
Okay.
ingredients in our speeches is emotions, emotions, emotions. If we don't have emotions in our speech goes flat. The audience is just sleeping like this, and you have to wake them up. Our emotions connect with the audience. And I'm going to share a different forms of our emotions. Audience loves when you share your struggles with them.
Mhm.
That means that time the relatability comes into picture. When you're vulnerable, the audience just loves it because you are sharing something personal with them. And to sum this all up, I'm going to share these two things. The one is inner dialogue. When you're sharing inner dialogue, what is happening in your head? The audience are getting the live version of you. It connects with the audience. And finally, the analytical reactions that are happening in our head. It's very similar to inner dialogue, but analytical reactions is how are we analyzing the situation in our head? So these things, they're only packaged in just one word is emotions, emotions, emotions. If you have emotions in your story, that connects with the audience. How do we do this? Let's start it. The first secret is bare your soul. I learned this from Luisa Montalvo, the second place winner of the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2019. She said, if you want to connect with the audience, bare your soul. I'm going to share a story of Star. Star is a lawyer, a fellow Toastmaster. She gave an amazing icebreaker. She had the most perfect delivery I've ever seen in my life. An icebreaker is a speech where we introduce ourselves to the club. She talked about the pop singer Dolly Parton in the speech. Immediately I knew she's afraid to open herself up. So remember, we have to bare our soul if we want to make that strong connection, that inspirational speech that people will never forget. We have to bare our soul. The next thing, we have to dig deeper. The stories we have lived on this earth, all of us have lived on this face of the earth for more than 2 decades. We don't have to have a story just happened in the last few months. We can go back in our lives. Like once I gave a story when I was 6 years old. I'm going to tell you that story in the later part of the slides, but I can go back. And then there was one story when I was in the 12th grade. I thought my mother had told me that I have an amazing, she told me my fortune. She said, you're going to get an amazing grades in the 12th grade. So I stopped studying. And when the grades came, there was nothing amazing about them. So dig deeper, go back. There are so many stories that have happened in our lives. Those stories are worth telling. The next thing, be brave. This is sometimes the hardest. I was talking about that story when I was 6 years old. It was Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. My last period of general science, the 5th period of science, was about to start. My class teacher was Naidu madam. She's very strict. Anything you do, she will take a ruler and just smash it on your hand. I looked into my bag and realized, oh my God, I did not get my workbook. At that moment, I stole the workbook of my neighbor. I got caught. That incident bothered me for over a decade in my life. It took me a lot of courage to share that story with the audience. So be brave. You will connect to the audience. Always remember what are your emotional spikes. You always remember those spikes. I'm going to ask you, what are your emotional spikes after 2 slides? So if you have something, please do share. I'm going to share one emotional spike with you. It was April 26th, 2010. I saw my VP coming towards me. At that moment, I knew I was getting laid off. So that had a big emotional spike. And I took that incident and really went back what happened. And I'm writing a speech on that. So what are your emotional spikes? The 3 F's I always like to go for is one is fear, then failure. In my 12th grade, I got not so amazing grades. So it had a big emotional spike for me. And third is family. I always have those anger spikes with my family, which are worth sharing, those nuggets where I learned something from, or when I'm trying to overcome something. So remember the 3 F's, which can cause very strong emotional spikes: family, failure, and fear. We have different kinds of emotions. The emotions which I connect to or which I like to share are fear. Then if I'm scared about something, that is another emotion I like to share. Or if I'm ashamed or embarrassed about something. Those are the emotional spikes. Help me to create a very good story. Now I want to go back and share my emotional spike about the time I got laid off. It was April 24th. I was having dinner with my friend Samir. Samir was sad. Samir and me were working for the same company and we knew our layoffs were coming. And Samir thought he's going to get laid off. On the other side, I knew I was going to get laid off. So I called my boss, who was in London. Boss, do you think I'll get laid off? Boss said, no, you don't have to worry about it. You are not going to get laid off. So during the dinner, I was very happy and excited. I knew I was not going to get laid off. 2 days later, when I saw that VP coming towards me, I knew it was my turn. So that is my speech. And I'll share with you in the next few slides how I'm going to develop that speech. Anyone who wants to share their emotional spikes? Anyone? Any brave soul out there? Anyone?
Can I share one?
Sure, please.
You just want the story of what the spike was? Okay.
Yes.
I had invited to take a trip with one of my girlfriends, and I got my hopes all high to go on the trip. We decided to put it in like a payment plan. And I was making payments. And when I got, she would make her own individual payments and I made my payments. And when I got to the fourth and last payment, the travel agent told me that she had canceled, that she decided she wasn't going to take the trip, and she didn't bother to tell me. And that really disappointed me. I didn't know what to do. I had gotten my hopes up very, very high to go on this trip. And so what did I do? I started thinking. I had to think, I want to go on the trip, but I don't want to go alone. That was my challenge. I had never taken a trip out of the country, had never flown. So what was I going to do? So what I did is I turned to a friend and I let her know my situation. Okay.
Thank you so much, Nora, because I'm going to come back to that because there is a lesson to that.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to share a story or spike in 30 seconds? Anyone else? I will move on. So remember these emotions. Now what, Nora, in that situation you were there, that you were disappointed. Your friend did not bother to tell you that she canceled.
Right.
What was the message you would like to hear in that moment that you would also like to share with the audience?
How to overcome disappointment.
That's very good. I want to share it in another way.
Okay.
I also want to share my story.
Okay.
I was talking about that story when I knew I was getting laid off, but my boss told me that I was not getting laid off. So I thought, oh, wow, I'm not getting laid off. But the message I wanted to hear from that story is believe into my intuition. My intuition has value. I need to believe in what I feel. So that is the message I want to take it to the audience is believe in yourself. No matter what, believe in yourself. Nora, now if you can share that incident, what message you would like to hear?
I don't understand.
Okay, so you wanted to overcome the disappointment.
Right, right.
Okay, so but what is the message from the story you would like to share with the audience?
Oh, because I didn't have the confidence to do it.
Yes. So your message might be, no matter what happens, be confident that you can deal with it. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Nora. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I'm going to share another story with you. I just want to check the time. Actually, I don't have any idea what the time is, but I went to a retreat in 2019. It was a silent retreat, and as a I had to clean the bathrooms. It was second day. I signed up for cleaning the bathrooms. As I was cleaning them, I was not sure if I'm doing a good job. I was trying to do my best, but still I felt that I didn't do a good job. On the 10th day, when the retreat was over, a fella came to me and said, "Hey, were you the person that cleaned the bathroom?" I was a little shy and said, "Yes, I was that person." Then he said he has never seen the bathroom that clean before. And here I was, torturing myself that I did not do a good job. And the message I wanted to hear in that moment is I am enough, you are enough, and we are enough. So always look for the message which you want to hear in that particular situation. That message has the power to connect with the audience. So this is a normal speech layout. You start in the middle of the action. You introduce the topic. I'm going to share an opening with you. It was March 6, 2010. I was pedaling through New Zealand as part of my first Ironman triathlon. And then, bam, a disaster happened. This was my defining moment. What is your defining moment? So I started in the middle of the action. I introduced the topic. And then you can develop the story, overcome the obstacle, and share the lessons learned or call to action. Dennis Dawson, my mentor, says, there is nothing or there is no concept of writer's block. You just have to glue yourself to the chair and write your speech. The one thing he always says is great speeches are rewritten. So just complete your first draft, no matter how it is. And the best way is just to sit down. That's what I tried and it works for me. I will sit down and next 2 hours, nothing. I'll keep my phone off and I will complete my first draft. So to recap, the secret ingredient for speeches is emotions. Always have lots of, share yourself with the audience, with your emotions. Bare your soul. Dig deeper. Be brave. You have lots of stories. Look for that emotional spikes you have had in your lives. That's the place where you have tons of stories. What message you would like to hear in that moment. And finally, glue yourself to the chair to write your first draft. Remember, great speeches are rewritten. You cannot write a perfect speech in the first draft. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. That was a great speech. Let's all take a minute now to think of some feedback that we'd like to share with Abhijit. Okay. Alex, would you like to begin with some feedback?
Yeah, thanks, Pooja. Abhijit, that speech was really interesting. It resonated with me well because in my second year as a Toastmaster, I'm really interested to develop a message, a positive message. So all of your insights are really relevant. I think one area of improvement maybe could be it's a lot of information, so maybe focusing a bit on one, like which you did, but there's so much. So whether it's the ingredients or the emotion or yeah, just maybe tailor your message to one to make it more effective. Other than that, yeah, I just see you as a really gifted storyteller and really brave. I have definitely shared the struggles, but maybe if you want to share some success stories, because that's where I'm trying to improve on, that could be something to consider. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Alex. Gloria, would you like to share something with Abhijit?
I truly enjoyed the presentation. It was well organized and developed. I liked the visual slides. I liked his vocal variety when he told his stories. So you can also hear the emotions. He was sharing the emotions to pull us in, but we can also hear it in his voice. I thought that was excellent. And I enjoyed it. I think it was super. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Gloria. I'd like to ask our timer, whom we haven't heard from much today, Linda. Would you like to share something?
Yeah.
I will get to Gavin next.
All right, thank you for the, yeah, I very, thanks for the address, the speech. I very enjoy your the speech. I think it's wonderful. So from our Toastmaster, everyone we got is to speak for the speech. But seems like the very simple the topic. But the actual is the demonstrate is very, very detailed. Most importantly, he used his emotionally and very connection with our audience. So for the also is all the presentation, all slide is very interesting and also very nice. And I think is from the speech, the evaluation, I think approach it very wonderful. And also I learned from lots of the emotions, the details, how to demonstrate the struggle and how to connect it. And he posed and asked a question with audience. So I think it is very, very good way. Thank you, approach is a wonderful speech.
Thank you, Linda. Gavin,
Also,
you had your...
I add also one more. So for the whole speech, the emperor is used 19 minutes and 15 seconds. So this is the time is very perfect. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. You had your hand raised, Gavin, so we'd love to hear.
Yes, Abhijit, I love every minute of your presentation. Absolutely very pragmatic, actionable. I'm wondering, when after you talked about the emotion part at the very beginning, is it possible for you just to show me the speech layout, the opening, the body, the conclusion? And I think, to me, it will be easier for me to follow the whole journey. Start in the middle of the action, then for you, it's not to introduce the topic, it's to introduce the layout. That will work better for me.
Thank you, Gavin. Unless anyone has any more feedback to share right now, I'm going to move on. If you had something that you didn't get a chance to share, please send a note to our speakers. They would love to hear from you. We have about 12 minutes of this meeting left, and I'd like to spend the last few minutes talking about where our club is going. We are about to charter soon. We have all of our officers in place, but here's something that we're missing. We're missing a structure to finding our speakers and our role bearers. So I'd like to take this meeting to ask if anyone wants to speak at our next meeting. If there's a role that you would like to take, please come forward. I'd love for you to say it rather than having to be approached. Okay. I will continue to ask each of you then that would you like to take this role this time, next time? No worries, that's fine by me. So how about we go back to our usual where we shared something about the meeting, what we liked, what we didn't like.
Quick question, this is Birgit. Is there a place where we can sign up? I mean, I should know this, but is there like a Google sheet or are we doing it on the website? because that might help.
We haven't created a Google Sheet, but that would be a place to begin. I can send out a link to everyone where you can sign up. What I can do is let me create meetings for the rest of the month, and for 1 month in advance we can be planned, and you can sign up over there.
That'd be great.
Thank you for bringing that up, Brigitte.
Who's your VPE, Pooja?
Our VPE is Gavin.
Oh, perhaps he can create the spreadsheet.
I'm the VPM. Yeah, I'm here for field and the membership.
Namita is the VPE.
Yeah, VPE is very important for us. So we want to know who is the VPE. Lots of technical skill we want to learn. Something like advanced skill.
So why don't I start with confirming all of our officers right now?
Yes.
I'm just opening it up. Give me a minute, please.